Black music, black culture is so dominant. It's like, God, Tupac could have been the president of the United States.
Yeah.
I was buried alive. I was dead. It's not a right that I have. God doesn't owe me that.
And we're back with another episode of BET Talks. I'm your host, Miabelle, and today's guest serves as a signature voice, presence, and story in both hip-hop and politics. Here to reclaim his time and his space with new ventures in music and his first headlining show, King's Theater, May 2nd, is Brooklyn and Belize's own Shyne. Welcome!
I love that introduction. Thank you
You're
so
very
much.
welcome.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes, and we're so happy to have you. Peace and love. You're here in the building.
Finally, because I felt a bit abandoned by BET. I was like, I gotta go back home. That's my home.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Now, of course, we want to learn the newer version of you, which means we're gonna get real personal, okay?
Sure.
And we're gonna have fun with a game that we call This or That. All you do is choose and tell us why. Brooklyn or Belize?
Belize.
Why?
That's where I was born. That is where my life is, my daughter, my people. Everything starts and ends with Belize.
Yeah. Bad Boys or Bonnie and Shyne?
Bonnie and Shyne, nah, Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us why.
Without Bad Boys, I wouldn't have got to Bonnie and Shyne. Bad Boys had to be a classic. It was the most defining song of my life. Yeah, so Bad Boys.
Being remembered as a hip-hop legend or respected as a real-life leader?
That's tough. You'd have to amend that. Not just a real-life leader, a leader of Belize, or a global leader from Belize, or a Belizean global leader. Something in those contexts, because again, everything starts and ends with Belize, and I believe my impact on the world will come from my ability to transform Belize in a very real way. But I couldn't do that necessarily as effective if I wasn't a hip-hop legend, because being a hip-hop legend gives me this platform to reach so many people and to bring Belize to so many people's attention, which helps our GDP, helps in so many ways. So it's a very unique question where someone qualifies for both. I don't see how you divorce one from the other, but yeah, I would go with global leader of Belize.
Even outside of Belize, your story has shown how you've been able to lead within your own life, something that we're all supposed to be able to do. Outside of just the politics and the music, just straight on, you've been able to get yourself out of a lot and reinvent yourself.
Indeed, but that comes from hip-hop. Belize birthed me, but hip-hop is one of the most resilient art forms, resilient cultures. It's the most dominant culture. So if you're a student, if you're a product of hip-hop, you're usually resilient. We were the roses in the concrete that grew, and we've grown into trillion-dollar businesses and members of parliament, future prime ministers, thanks to hip-hop.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Now, outside of music, hip-hop, and of course politics, what's something that people would be surprised to know that you're into?
I immerse in the water, depends on where I'm at, so I either go to the pool or I go to the Caribbean Sea, if I'm in Belize or Jamaica or Haiti. I have to immerse at least once a day. Sometimes I do as much as 3 times a day.
Oh, wow.
So I love water. I'm always in water, and it's a spiritual thing more than anything, but yeah, I have to go into the water every day.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
And on a music front, you are going to bring us back to your era of, you know, the late 90s with your first headlining show, King's Theater.
May 2nd, King's Theater,
That's such
Brooklyn,
a big
New
deal.
York.
What are you feeling?
I'm feeling an excitement that I haven't felt since I was 18 years old.
Wow.
Taking those subway trains, as I still do today, chasing, that American dream of one day being on BET, which I thank God I was able to accomplish. And unfortunately, circumstances prevented me from being free. I was held in captivity for quite some time. My album was released September 26th.
September 26th, and I'm coming out number 8 on Jams right now. And of course, that's not gonna be number 1.
You're talking about October, November, December, and January, selecting a jury. February, I'm on trial. And March 16th, I was convicted, sentenced unjustifiably so to 10 years. So I never got a chance to do a headline concert. So my supporters, the people that love Shyne, never got a chance to get the Shyne experience live on a stage. So I'm so excited to share this moment with them, beginning in Brooklyn, because I'm going to go all over the United States, the Caribbean, UK, Europe, Africa, Asia, throughout the world.
Of course, we're celebrating 25 years. Shyne, your debut album. When you go back and listen to those records, what do you feel? Because I can tell you from listening, especially with how it ends, there is just so much insight with how things played out. So I would love to hear your perspective when listening back.
It's my greatest work of art today. Some would argue that Godfather Buried Alive was better, but that's a great debate to have. It's a time capsule. It's like going to a museum. I have so much admiration and appreciation for that 19-year-old kid, that 18-year-old kid, that 17-year-old kid, because a lot of that music was made about my life up until that point. Listening to his poetry and to his art is very moving, and it's very appropriate. It's very applicable to where I'm at now, because as a leader in Belize, a servant to the people of Belize, I have to find solutions for those young Shynes, girls and boys, because they still exist. Unfortunately, the world has not reached to a level of complete enlightenment. Listening to young Shyne as I celebrate the 25th anniversary inspires me. I have so much that I have to deliver, and how urgent and important it was to me when I was a young kid. There were people that were there to facilitate my transition from a street warrior, soldier, a general in Brooklyn, Vietnam, to someone who could have a platform to express his art and could evade an early grave and a lifetime sentence. So as I celebrate Shyne, some people may say, oh, well, how are you going to say those lyrics? Or that's not you now. No, if that young man didn't exist, this leader would not exist. The celebration is not necessarily in the one or two profanities or obscene language that may be used to describe that young man's pain, that young man's nightmare, and that young man's vision. Because if you listen, I'm asking for help, and I'm asking to build schools instead of prisons. I'm asking to teach me a craft or a trade so I wouldn't be on the corner serving. So it's a celebration.
You are the first rapper to ever be elected to a nation's House of Representatives, and after what you've been through being incarcerated, that is something that we would have thought could never happen for anybody. And it happened for you. You walked in those shoes. What is something that really sparked that for you?
Obviously, I was deported. My career was not able to get resuscitated because not living in the States. Instead of feeling sorry for myself, I looked at what people in Belize were going through. The fact that I was able to accomplish my wildest imaginations and dreams, and there were people living a nightmare that would never realize their dreams. So how could I feel sorry for myself when my country, women and men, are still in a position where most of them won't get to realize a micro version of their dreams?
Right.
You know what I could do? I could share the information that I have, and I created a resource center. That's how I started into politics in Mesopotamia, because information is very important.
Yeah.
It's worth more than money. It's worth more than anything that a government can give you or any person can give you. Information, and sparking that appetite for revolution, for unimaginable dreams to become a reality, all starts in your mind.
You mentioned that, when you were deported, you had to recollect yourself and not feel bad for yourself.
It was tough. I was wounded. I was mortally wounded after what I'd been through. That's why my album that I put out while I was incarcerated is called Godfather Buried Alive, because I was buried alive. I was dead. So when I got out, I was being resuscitated. Musically, my voice was gone. I was wounded. I was devastated. I was a shell of myself. It would have took a lot of healing, a lot of processing, a lot of conditioning to get me back. But that could have only happened here.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done that myself in Belize.
Would you say that was your hardest transition? Because you've been through so many.
No.
What was the hardest?
No. The hardest thing I ever did was go from being a poor immigrant child of a single mother who didn't have much to having my dreams come true.
Right.
There's nothing harder than that transition. After that, there's nothing that I was not able to do. But the second most difficult thing was enduring that time held in captivity. That was more difficult than the transition that I went through over the last I think it's 16 or 17 years since I've been, returned to freedom. Being Shyne, the legendary rapper, is a gift. It's a luxury. It's a privilege. It's not a right that I have. God doesn't owe me that. And my ability to serve humanity and to uplift people, that was a gift that I was given, but I couldn't do those things being incarcerated. And being incarcerated, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Right. And to my next point, a lot of people, they come out bitter, they come out hardened, they come out dead, like you mentioned, for yourself.
Yeah.
And you had to revive and, find your purpose so that you can do what you're doing now. What do you give the credit to? Faith, discipline, family?
I have always been a spiritual person. So everything, the foundation of my life is praying.
Yes.
I think I started praying maybe around the time I was 13, but then when I got shot when I was 16, near-death experience, that's when I really intensely prayed. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't pray because I was noble, I was pious. I prayed to stay alive. I just said, okay, God, you spared my life, but I need you to keep sparing my life because my enemies were serious people and I did what I had to do to protect myself. And I used to just pray to God to stay alive. That's what growing up in Brooklyn was. Everything that I'm doing now is actually what I prayed for. I used to make a deal with God and say, hey, I'm one of the toughest guys in my community, but I'm also one of the most honest. I have integrity and I don't take advantage of anyone. I always protect people. And I said, so I'm the kind of person you need to keep around. This is what I used to say to God. That's why I chose the name Moses, because Moses used to talk to God. And so everything that I'm doing now, I always plan to do it.
We're gonna get a complete new version of you, 2026 Shyne.
I wouldn't say new, I just think you
New in music.
you're gonna get the superb, the supreme, the supernal version, the evolved version.
Yeah,
Like
the highest version of where
the
you are
wine is
now.
more expensive the older it is.
Yeah.
It's not the new wine doesn't really cost much. So you're getting what you're supposed to get. If I didn't go away, I'd probably be on the billionaires list right now.
You would have evolved.
I would have continued to evolve. When I was in California a few months ago, I met Idi Amin. It's one of Tupac's guys, part of the Outlaws, and he said, I'm so proud of you. This goes beyond rap. Who you are as a human being, as a man, what you mean to our people, who you are as a leader. This is what Tupac would have been.
Right.
This is what Tupac would have done. Tupac could have been the president of the United States.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be rapping like the YNs, and I'm not supposed
You're
to
definitely not supposed to be
I'm
that.
not supposed to be who I was when I was 18 years old.
The supreme
The superior
Shyne.
Shyne. It's like what I'm doing now with Dr. Dre, in the studio recording with him, Swiss Beats and Timbaland.
And it sounds insane. All of these, legacy producers that are gonna be a part of this project. Boy Wonder, who else?
There's nobody like Dr. Dre. He's just a genius, right? So that was a great experience. I could do a whole album with him.
Okay.
And I probably will down the stretch, but right now we're just gonna limit it to a few on this album. Then Swiss sent me some stuff. And it's crazy when Dre hit and he's like,
Right.
the records that Swiss sent me, one in particular, oh my goodness.
That's like that.
Right? But hold on. Then you go to Timbaland, and then he gives you the holy grail, Polo the Don, steals the whole show and gives me some of the greatest music I have ever heard. Like, I can't wait for you to hear. Then you go to Hit Boy. Oh my goodness. Boy Wonder. He sent me a whole album.
That's another album.
He sent me a whole album. RZA. Oh my goodness.
RZA too.
RZA. God bless you, RZA. Incredible.
Yeah.
Pooh Bear. I don't know if people know who Pooh Bear is. Google him. My list of producers. I'm so blessed. 3 albums coming.
3 albums.
First album is going to be fourth quarter. That's going to be The Honorable.
Okay.
Next year, we're going to put out The Rap Prime Minister. And then after that, we'll put out Actual Intelligence.
Yes. Now, originally, I know you wanted to do this paired with the documentaries. And
you see, you did your research, because a lot of people are like, oh, I thought you weren't going to rap again. You were paying attention.
Absolutely.
I said it when I was promoting the Honorable Shyne documentary on Hulu. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I said that I was supposed to put an album along with that, and that the other projects, the TV series about my life and the motion picture about my life, would have albums attached to it. So thank you for paying attention.
Of course. That's what we're here to do.
So I'm late on the Honorable album.
Yeah, you have a lot on your plate right now. For the young kids in Brooklyn, Flatbush, any kid from the hood, or, going through obstacles and wanting to to accomplish things that they may not see in their future based off of circumstance? What's something that you could tell to them that can help them evolve the way that you did?
To the young Shynes, girl or boy, you have to know that all of us, all of the celebrities, the athletes, any successful person that you see, they're going through the same thing that you're going through, just at their level in a different way. Most of us had to go through a nightmare to get to the dream. That's just a part of the process. And your today is not tomorrow. So your today in hell is not your tomorrow that may be in heaven, but you just have to be present. You have to endure the pain, the suffering, the sacrifice. We all do it. There are times I didn't sleep as a leader of the opposition in Belize. There are times that I lived out of a suitcase for months on end, going to all different parts of the country. But that is a part of my ambition and what I felt that God created me to do. So you have to be present every day. You have to believe every day, because the minute you give up, the moment you stop believing, the moment you stop visualizing, is the moment that things could have given you the result that you wanted all along. So never, ever give up until the air comes out of your lungs and your nostrils and you take your last breath. Don't ever give up. Give yourself time too. That's very important. And God knows what's best. Embrace your struggle. Embrace your pain, because on the other side of that is glory.
Absolutely. Oh, you preaching to the choir today, okay? Now, you talk about your daughter a lot. I know there's so much love there, of course. I want you to also highlight women in your life who really helped you see through to the other side, whether that be your mother, your grandmother, a mentor. Because yes, Mother's Day is coming up too within the month that you'll be shining at King's Theater. So of course we have to give it out to them.
There's no woman that means more to me than my mom. There's no one that's had a greater impact on me than my mom. When you talk about resilience, it's her. She's been through so much. She had a dream of being a baseball player, softball player. That was her passion, sports. She was supposed to go to and win a gold medal for Belize and play on the national team, international game, but she had me, so she couldn't go. And then she was an educator. She came to America as an immigrant, and she had to clean homes and babysit and do what, most immigrants from the Caribbean, do when they start out. And my mom just sacrificed everything for me, and she's been my rock to this day. And everything that I have, I owe to her, and I'm just so happy to share in these moments with her, because it's difficult when things are falling apart. It's difficult when failure comes, but it's a part of the ebb and flow of life. If not for her, I highly doubt that I'd be where I'm at today.
Yeah, what a blessing. And I'm sure she's so proud and feels so blessed to see all the moves that you're making.
Amen. Thanks to her.
Yeah. And before we let you go, when it comes to Black music, because of course you defined a moment in history which you're able to bring back time and time again for as long as you're living, what does Black music mean to you now? And how are you celebrating it?
I celebrate Black music every day, so it's not necessarily how I'm celebrating it now. Black music is the most dominant force on planet Earth, and there's nothing that you listen to that doesn't have the influence of Black music.
That's a fact.
Listen to Taylor Swift. Black music, Black culture is so dominant. It's like, God, where isn't God?
Right.
I don't even think to celebrate, because it's a constant celebration, because whenever you hear anything, it's Black music for the most part.
Where are you now? What are you listening to? If we were to pass you the aux cord, what's the first joint that you're gonna play?
I was heavy into Armani, dancehall, Russian, storybook rhythm. You got Don Toliver with that Octane album.
Oh, you are very much so in the know.
Is incredible. WizKid, Burna Boy, DJ Tunes, Sexy Song for You album with Drake and Party Next Door, Yeast Talk by Hit Boy, that Cali Bop, Lila Ike.
Put me on.
Oh my goodness, she is breathtaking. One of the most incredible voices, heavenly voices that I've heard in quite some time. I do my reggae, Gramps Morgan, Morgan Heritage, Luciano, Bob Marley, Stephen Marley. Also, Stig the artist from Belize. and Super G from Belize, and yes, Talia. List goes on and on.
Yes,
and
you
on
can
and
name them
on and
all.
on.
Thank you
Beyonce,
so
Rihanna.
much. Shyne, it was such a pleasure to get to know all sides of you. I mean, this was, I think, the most personable interview, so we thank you so much for
Pleasure
being
to be
here.
here.
We can't wait to see you again at King's Theater May 2nd.
Yes.
It's going down in
Yes.
Flatbush, Brooklyn.
That's right.
And the new album,
That's right.
Honorable Shyne first, and then the two others next, right?
Prime Minister and Actual Intelligence, because I don't want anyone to steal my album title, so I have to put it out there. And make sure you
You
visit
heard it.
Belize.
Yes.
It's paradise. We didn't get to talk about that enough, but that's going to be for the next interview.
Absolutely, and home to you always. It's Shyne, y'all. BET Talks. Thank you.